But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Aaron Frey to walk us through some of the changes and some of the updates we've received from the Department of Education with some of the challenges that you are experiencing with the FAFSA. All right, Aaron Frey.
Good evening, and thank you, Joanne. As mentioned, my name is Aaron Fry. I work at the main campus in the Student Financial Services Office as a counselor. Had about 12 years of experience working in financial aid in particular at the community college level and now at Lindenwood University for the last 6 months. We're really happy to have you all here today, and we're glad that you showed up and are showing interest in the 2024-25 FAFSA. There have been some significant changes in how the application, how it looks, how we fill it out, the information and how it's processed, and then the resulting information that gets transmitted to schools. So there have been delays, there has been confusion, and there have been no shortage of questions. We're going to go through some of the basics of those changes and hopefully have some time left over at the end. We may be able to field some questions from you. And of course, as you think of anything that you'd like to ask, you can put it into the chat, and one of my expert colleagues will be able to reply to you right away. So we'll get started. Of course, the 24-25 FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, is the first step in securing funding for higher education. So what is the FAFSA and why it is important? Well, the FAFSA is that basic initial application that students fill out and their families in order to determine eligibility for financial aid and other funding programs. Completing the FAFSA can increase opportunities for scholarships and grants, not just student loans or the main federal Pell Grant, but there are a number of scholarship organizations and funders that may even in their application process ask the question, hey, were you eligible to complete a FAFSA? Did you complete the FAFSA? And so even students and families that may not be interested or have assumed that or are sure that they won't qualify for a federal grant, if they're interested in applying for scholarships, whether that's directly from Lindenwood or an outside organization, we still strongly recommend that you complete and submit the FAFSA application. And of course, it's completed online, and that can be found at studentaid.gov. Now, a student and parents, anyone that contributes information into the FAFSA application is going to have a special ID and password set up in order to access that content and material. And we call that an FSA ID, Federal Student Aid. So if you are new to the process and you have not already created that ID, before you even get into the FAFSA application itself, you're going to want to create yourself a login for federal student aid. And then we also see on this slide Lindenwood University's school code. When you're adding schools to receive your FAFSA information, and students can have up to 20 schools receive that FAFSA information, you can either look or search the school by name, or you can enter our school code. It will populate it automatically. So 002480 is the indicator for Lindenwood University. Now, changes, we mentioned the application itself has changed, the format of it has changed. And this is a result of the FAFSA Simplification Act. And this act has brought around a significant overhaul of the processes and systems used to award federal student aid. And that starts with fall 2024, so the 24-25 school year. So the first set of changes, are in the application form itself. And these substantial changes have resulted in a bottleneck in the application process. So initially, it took very, very long for these applications even to get reviewed and eligibility determined by Department of Education. In the past, we've all been used to a student completing the FAFSA, and then 3 to 5 days later, the school would have the information. Well, this year, the processing times have been significantly extended. And that has resulted in issues, for students and families, for colleges and universities, and for the Department of Education itself. Now, you'll see too, if you've done a FAFSA in the past, you may have heard a term called EFC, Estimated Family Contribution. And that was the score, the financial aid score that was determined by completing the FAFSA. That term, that score, is now called a Student Aid Index, or SAI. And this is a term that you will hear quite a bit during your college career, because that number really does help us determine a student's eligibility for federal grants, such as the Pell Grant, not just to determine if a student can get one, but how large of a grant it will be. Um, Students, parents, and spouses are now called contributors on the FAFSA. Uh, so many of us in the past would only, as an individual, if I were completing the FAFSA myself in years past, I could enter my information, enter my spouse's information, and then I would be the only person that has to sign my FAFSA to submit it. Well, this year that has changed a bit, and my wife is now being requested to create an FSA ID and password. She is a contributor on my FAFSA this year, so we've seen changes related to that as well. And every contributor will need that FSA ID to circle back around. It truly is the first step in the FAFSA application process. So if you don't have one yet, go to studentaid.gov and create an account. So the FSA ID, a little more information about that. It allows you to complete the FAFSA form online, and then other types of financial aid related forms, such as direct loan entrance counseling and the master promissory note. These items are also located at studentaid.gov and require a student login. Sometimes, if in certain programs, such as the Parent Plus loan, a parent may actually be logging in to complete those items as well. And then the FSA ID and password you'll need to be able to review the processed financial aid information to determine your eligibility, so you can stay abreast of what your financial aid package looks like. The After the FAFSA is completed, we fingers crossed for right now are saying in 3 to 5 days the FAFSA will be processed. We certainly have seen a reduction in the processing time recently, and I'm sure very soon we will see those processing times down to the 3 to 5 days, and then that information is transmitted to the university and to the student. And the student's FAFSA submission summary is a report with some notes concerning your eligibility, and then your processed information that you entered into the FAFSA. Now, formerly, this was called a Student Aid Report, or SAR. And I for one, I am having difficulty stopping using that term. So you may still hear it in financial aid offices, but your version of the SAR is now called the FAFSA Submission Summary. Now, there may be, after you've completed the FAFSA, it may be determined that there are additional required documents that you may need to submit to the Student Financial Services Office. Some students are chosen for a process called verification. That requires you fill out a worksheet. Sometimes a parent's signature is required on it, as well as the student's. Sometimes a student or family may be requested to provide information about their taxes or other circumstances. All of that we will notify students through their, by sending an email to their Lindenwood email account. And in many cases, these additional required items can be uploaded directly through the student portal. So that can make it a bit more convenient, especially for our students that aren't necessarily attending at the main St. Charles campus. So you or your parents or contributors may need to make corrections to the FAFSA, and this can be for different reasons. There could be and there could be erroneous information, or a question was answered incorrectly. The FAFSA may maybe a contributor skipped adding their electronic signature, and so will be required to log back in to update the FAFSA and resubmit it. Um, what we're seeing this year, in the past, we had a lot more of the verifications of income and taxes, and this year, that's kind of what we're seeing more of is what are called just straight rejections, where there is a code that says the FAFSA cannot be processed with the current information that we've received, and that is correctable by a contributor. The student or parent needs to log into FAFSA, correct an answer, update information, resubmit the FAFSA to clear that rejection code so we can then determine a student's actual eligibility. If a FAFSA is rejected by Department of Education, it does not mean that you won't get financial aid, but it does mean that attention and action are required on your part in order for the school to even have the information to determine what you could be eligible to use. So the FAFSA has been received. It's not rejected. You have your FAFSA submission summary. The school has received the information, and now we can look at what types of funding, what types of aid a student can receive. And so here we have listed the main types of funding that you'll see at Lindenwood University, that you'll see at virtually any school, but definitely Lindenwood. So we have federal aid, of course, and that includes federal grants such as the Pell Grant or the Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant. It also would include federal student loans, which we call direct loans. And there are direct loans that a student borrows as an undergraduate. There are also loans that a parent may borrow on behalf of their child that is currently a college student. The FAFSA is required to do those plus loans as well. And so we have the federal funding, and then we look at Missouri state funding. And there is a Missouri grant if you're a Missouri resident attending school here, called Access. Uh, the Access grant can be a student can be eligible for it if they meet certain need criteria, and if their FAFSA is submitted no later than the final deadline is June 1st this year. It has been extended this year due to the delays in FAFSA processing and difficulty with dealing with the processed information. So State of Missouri has extended the deadline to June 1st for the access grant. Now, the state of Missouri, not the state of Missouri, the Missouri Scholarship and Loan Foundation does also have a special loan that some students may qualify for. But to circle back, the FAFSA is going to be required in order for you to apply for that. Lindenwood University itself has a host of institutional grants and scholarships that it provides for its students. Uh, we have outside aid and private scholarships. So there are organizations all over the region and all over the country that may provide a scholarship or a tuition reimbursement or something like that. And so we work with that quite often in student financial services. Veterans educational benefits, absolutely very common, and we work with our VA office in order to process all of the different chapters of veterans educational benefits. And then, of course, we'll finish with private loans. We do have a number of preferred alternative loan providers, and we can direct students and families to them. If you contact Student Financial Services, we're absolutely able to assist with that. So those are the main types of funding that you'll see on a student's account, and all of them are going to, almost all of them will require the FAFSA, and we strongly recommend it for any type of aid that you're going to be using. Now, I did mention that the state of Missouri had extended the FAFSA, the final FAFSA application deadline for the access grant. That's been moved to June 1st. Due to the delays in that's in the rollout of the FAFSA, in the processing times, and the difficulty that schools are having in dealing with the newly processed information, state of Missouri did decide to extend that deadline. You've got until June 1st this year. And then there is the link here to Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. They do have additional information there for you as well. So Lindenwood scholarships and grants, we do have a number of scholarship opportunities based on academic achievement as well as need-based aid. So we do offer to qualifying students our academic merit scholarship, and if you have looked at Lindenwood University scholarship webpage, you'll see information about a number of different types of funds. You'll see the Sibley Scholarship on there as well. You'll see mention of our alumni grant, the military and veterans discounts, educators discounts, corporate partnerships, and then we also have a host of endowed scholarships that do require a separate application. If you're on the scholarships webpage of Lindenwood's website, and you scroll about halfway down the page, you will find a link that says apply for a Lindenwood University scholarship. This is the link to the endowed scholarships. These scholarships are funded by donations. They are they require a separate application. Not every applicant will be awarded the scholarship, so they are competitive in nature. You'll find a link for first-time students for that application, for transfer or for students that are transferring into Lindenwood. And then if you've already attended Lindenwood for a semester or a year, there is an application for current and returning continuing students as well. The deadline to apply for endowed scholarships is August 1st. And the link on the school's scholarships webpage will take you directly to the PDF that you can fill out while you're online. We've got the link there to our scholarships webpage, and that will take you to a host of additional content. If you scroll all the way down the page, you'll find resources for external scholarships as well. So a student, a family may have a package, a financial package set up that includes grants, it includes loans, it may include scholarships as well, and there still may be tuition and fees that are left over that a student or family decides they will pay out of pocket. And Lindenwood does offer a payment plan so that a student, so that a family can take whatever that remaining amount of tuition is and pay it off over the course of up to 5 monthly payments. Now, the later in the summer or the later in the semester that a student signs up for a payment plan, then there will be fewer payments and each payment will be larger. But the payment plan option is available. And so when we have these remaining balances, students and families don't have to come up with the entire amount all at once. Uh, Enrolling in that payment plan can be done through the student portal. We've got the enrollment instructions right here. And of course, if you have questions about it or if it gets closer to the beginning of the school year and you don't remember what you saw on this particular slide, don't hesitate. Come see us at Student Financial Services or give us a call, send an email, and we're happy to walk you through that process. Okay, so submitting payments can be done. I mean, if you're on a payment plan, they'll be taken automatically, but students can also submit one-time payments through their student portal. We can accept payments through the mail. Of course, the payment plan is a direct deposit, direct withdrawal. Um, we do work with a number of employers uh, that have a contract and understanding with Lindenwood and that pay a portion or sometimes all of a student's tuition. And then if we're working with international students, payments coming from another country, we work with an organization called Flywire that is able to process those payments for us and be able to take care of you. We can accept payments over the phone as well. At least on the main campus, we're able to do that. So here we've got a slide with 2024 to 25's tuition and fees for Lindenwood University, just to give an idea of what you will see, what you may see on your bill. And tuition, of course, for a student that falls within what we call block rate, that's 12 to 18 credit hours per semester, works out to $19,900 per year. That's or 9,950 per semester. You'll see we have the lion fee. Uh, if a student is if a student it doesn't fall within that 12 to 18 credit hour range, then we see per credit hour it works out to $663 per credit hour. And there is mention of the active military discount as well. Uh, on the other side of the slide, you can see with our housing costs, room and board for multiple occupancy, single occupancy, and then the houses we have. Uh, these fees are set for 2024-25, and they're available on the website as well, so you can get access to them at any time. Now, there may be, and there are at times, additional fees that you may see on your registration bill. These are typically to access online content or books that are meant to be purchased for your class. And so those may end up on you may see those fees on your registration bill as well. But the fees and charges that are set are right here in this slide. So, student financial services at the main campus. We are located in the Spelman Center. Uh, the building that has the clock tower, if you've been on campus. We're on the third floor, just down the hall from the main admissions office. You see our phone number there, 636-949-4923. That'll put you in touch with the main student financial services, our main phone line. We have anybody that answers that phone is an employee of Lindenwood University working in the student financial services section. So anybody that you speak with is going to be able to help you out. You can also email us anytime at sfs, Student Financial Services, at lindenwood.edu. And then for student accounts, if you have questions about your bill in particular, or making payments, their phone number is 636-949-4650, and their email, bursar'soffice@lindenwood.edu. Both sections of student financial services are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And every now and then, we might be there on a Saturday, but don't count on it. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm going to turn it back over to my colleagues, panel of experts, and to you, students and families. If you have questions, we're happy to talk them out and to reply to you on the chat as well.
Any general questions that we can assist with? Erin, if you don't mind, just a tad bit of the slide right before the questions. That way, so folks can email us directly for any questions, or we can also set up one-on-one appointments. So we just have that email just so we can, we don't share private information in our group chat, because we will be publishing this this webinar. All right, let's see. All right, Becky, you had a question?
Yes, hi. I was just wondering, when will our students be receiving like their whole package? So if their FAFSA has been released and scholarships provided by Lindenwood, I expect that to be kind of packaged together so that we could see it all. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you. I think that is a very important question. We are packaging students as quickly as possible based on the information we received from the Department of Education. As you may have heard, some of the ISOs that we did receive were erroneous and require reprocessing. So we are working diligently to ensure that these ISOs are audited. So we are awarding financial aid as accurately as possible, but as we receive notification from the Department of Education, we will update the your award offer accordingly. We do send out award offers via email. So if we are able to package you, you will be receiving a notification so you can view your estimated award offers on the portal.
Okay, thank you. Is there a time frame that, I mean, it sounds like just sit tight, right, for now, but is there a time frame that we should start getting a little nervous if we haven't received anything like that?
Sure, no, and that's an excellent question. With everything going on with Department of Education and the FAFSA, I think that it's a valid concern, and that's across the board, not unique to Lindenwood, but we are working diligently to get that out there. Rest assured that everyone is working hard to get the packages out there as soon as possible and with the most accurate information.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, thank you for that question. I do want to also put out there, we do have a FAFSA updates page, and we can share that in our group. So as we get more information regarding the FAFSA, we will go ahead and post that out there as we get more information from the Department of Education. They are great about quick videos that you can view, especially if you do have any notification or communication about a rejected FAFSA. There has been issues with signatures. Without those signatures, as Erin had shared with us, we are not able to determine your eligibility with a missing SAI, which is the student aid index. So if you are in that situation where maybe the you were notified that the correction is not available, it is now available for you, whether it be yourself or all contributors, to go back to the FAFSA and fulfill that signature requirement. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so basically, I've been trying to do my FAFSA form for like months now, but we've been having problems because my mom couldn't get into her FAFSA account at first. So they had made a case number or something, and they tried to call me back about it, but I never could get back in touch with them. So I don't know if I should just call them back or.
Now, was it regarding maybe a Social Security issue, or did they specify what exactly the issue may be?
Basically, she didn't know her password and she was trying to change it because she couldn't, well, the last time she logged into her account was like 4 years ago, maybe 7. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was a long time ago. And she didn't remember her password and they couldn't get her into her account. But I don't know if she could get into it now, but I hope she can.
Sure, Sierra. Thank you for that question. I would have her reapply. It may have expired if it has been 4 years. And so it had changed. There is validation going on as far as the date of birth and Social Security number. So I would have her first attempt to either request for that password, or she may need to create a new account, considering it's been 4 years. But if you do run into any issues, feel free to email us or call us directly, and we can better help you with that specifically.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right. Any other questions? We do see a couple of questions in our chat that we are responding to as quickly as possible. If we're not able to get to your question directly, please, we will reach out to you and answer those accordingly. Yes, Becky.
Sorry, it's me again.
Oh, no problem.
When will parents be able to create their account so that we can pay the bill and all of that good stuff that's coming our way? Is that already an option for us to do?
Could you clarify when you say create an account?
Well, I think I'm used to another campus where my daughter had to give me permission to kind of access certain things in her file, as well as setting up an account for myself to pay the bill. It was not directly through her portal. It was like another online kind of site, if you will, to where the bills would come. Parents would get an email. I'm afraid I might miss something, so I'm just wanting to kind of be proactive. Or will it all come to my student directly?
Erin, do you know offhand about maybe a third party? I know that we do accept payments, different forms of payments via mail or calling in. As I think one of the slides that
Yeah, that was helpful.
Online payments or direct deposit, or even International Flywire sounds like a third party, but that's mainly for international payments. I think that what you may be referring to is maybe a third party portal, and you make your payments directly. And are you referring to maybe a different institution? Yeah, no, you can call directly our student affairs or a student accounts office, or make online payments directly to Lindenwood. We do have an option for installment payments, which is a third party through Transact. If that's what maybe you're referring to, that also can be set up as early as possible, and we can send that information to you. I believe that was slide 9. Erin, if you want to flip back to that, if you don't mind.
I think my question is more so related to just notification and communication to, the parent, and maybe it is a different situation here where the student is solely responsible, but is there an option that I could enter my email address so that I can see when a bill is due, or when, that sort of thing? Or should I just get her login and be able to view it that way?
I'm not too certain. I know that they do send out invoices, and I don't know if it may default to the student or if it can be rerouted to you. But what I'd like to do, if I can get your contact information, I could get with the student accounts office to ensure that we can make that arrangement if it is possible.
Yes, absolutely. You want me to drop it in the chat?
Or if you can email the SFS line, and then we can go ahead and get in touch with you, that would probably be best.
Okay, thank you.
Great question, though. Thank you for that.
And I'm going to add something. Especially for first-time students, we strongly recommend that students complete a FERPA waiver or add a parent as a trusted contact, so that the school can share information, including financial information about the student's account, when a parent calls. If a student logs into their into the Lindenwood online portal and goes to I believe my profile, there's an option for my FERPA, FERPA, Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. And it takes less than 5 minutes. A student can set up a parent or other trusted person as a contact that we're simply allowed to share information with. Absolutely. And that's something that again, we really recommend. I recommend, especially for first-time students, first-time college students that may be unfamiliar with some of these processes. If you have an adult parent that can call and ask questions when it's necessary, that can be a very, very handy thing.
All right. Any other questions? Feel free again to drop us an email. We're more than happy to meet with you one-on-one and set appointments, and have any questions that may come up even after the webinar. If there's no other questions, I think that is it for this evening. Thank you all for joining us and asking these important questions. This will be posted for future reference as well. All right. Have a great evening, everybody.